Wrestling and Shit with Malik Gaines.
And Jason Wells.
And the nigga in the background.
Troll Jr. from the Miseducation coming soon. And Chris Jericho, my favorite wrestler of all time, one of my favorite talkers in ring. Just overall, Chris Jericho is pure wrestling excellence. And one of the best things about Chris Jericho he has a very good roster of feuds. So let's do the top 5. Number 5, Chris Jericho versus Dean Malenko, his 98 feud in WCW. Dean Malenko is one of the best technical wrestlers in the history of wrestling. He was amazing at what he did. And him and Chris Jericho had very, very good chemistry. Well, I mean, Dean Malenko, he was the quiet man of the two. He was, people can get behind him because they respected his wrestling ability. But Chris Jericho, this was that feud where Chris Jericho had that arrogant, asshole, obnoxiousness that really started to shine through. Like, you saw, like, when he was, like, the crybaby Jericho, like, before that, which was good, but, like, this is when Jericho became that nigga to me.
With Dean Malenko, to have a dude that just has the type of... What Malenko brings is professionalism. Whatever he's doing it well. He's not going to be the most exciting guy on mic or personality-wise. He was the Iceman. That wasn't what it was about. He was a good wrestler, and he knew it, and he made sure you knew it. And he wanted his respect. Jericho isn't really a respectful type guy, literally the antonym. He was full of himself. He was also very good and could back it up. These guys clashed, and it was more of like excellence versus of excellence nah kind of thing. Is when you have two excellent wrestlers, and it's not even just. They're literally going about who is the better wrestler. And Jericho made just so obnoxious. Like, that's perfect.
Like the cruiserweight title. Like, I love how this was over the cruiserweight title.
It was the best thing there at that point.
It was. Like that the cruiserweight title was a real great thing back in WCW. And we had two of my all-time favorite Chris Jericho promos came out of this feud. Obviously, one being, you're the man of 1,000 holes. I'm the man of 1,004 holes. And he came out with that giant-ass list. Number 1, armbar. Like, he say, like, 5 imaginary holes. Armbar. And he just kept doing it. Like, it was fantastic. And then it was like the first official list of Jericho. And then when Dean Malenko came out and he had through the list, and Jericho, oh, my holes, you're throwing my holes. Like, he was such like a whiny little asshole, and he played it to a T.
The cruiserweight division was really like Jericho was one of the guys that really put it. I wouldn't say put it on his back, but it was like so many talented guys there, and so there was a lot of them doing that. And this is just part of the core of when you go back to the cruiserweight division of WCW. If you don't think about Jericho versus someone, you're not thinking about the right cruiserweight division.
Because Jericho brought a lot of personality to the division. It was always about in ring. But there weren't, like, if you look back, there weren't a whole lot of them, Chris Jericho. There weren't a whole lot of them back then there wasn't a whole lot of them that had a lot of personality. Chris Jericho had it in spades. And the other promo that I loved was when Dean Malenko wore the mask and he beat Chris Jericho for the title. And Chris Jericho, he was walking around Washington, D.C. with a conspiracy victim sign up holding above his head. He was like walking around talking to civilians. She's like, oh, do you think this is a conspiracy going on against me? And the people didn't even know who he was. Like, it was so stupid, but it was hilarious. So, yeah, I love this feud. And number 4, his feud against CM Punk in 2012.
Deep. Jeez, it was just so deep.
When he tried to put Mr. Sock
it went there.
It was funny as shit.
Like, wow, like this it really
because he's Jericho, he's the man.
He put anything in the walls of Jericho.
But the lengths that Chris Jericho went in this feud with Punk, it was mean. Like, he was talking about Punk's dad dealing with alcoholism, Punk's sister she had a substance abuse problem. Like, these things are why CM Punk is straight edge now. So, like, they actually those are deep cuts. And he was just being like the complete and total Jericho asshole that he always is. And he poured liquor on CM Punk's head and smashed his head with a bottle. Like, Jericho, he made sure to play that heel role very well.
So deep. I mean, when you guys see CM Punk, one of the best of all time, Jericho, one of the best. These guys put everything into making this feud.
This was like 5 years ago.
They put everything into making this feud uncomfortable. And like that's not something that's really, especially now in the PG era, done quite as much, is the efforts to make this feud as uncomfortable as possible. Something Punk was good with anyway, with like, you know, getting Mysterio's kids to turn on him and everything.
The Paul Bear thing that came a couple of years, like the next year, that was in bad taste.
Punk is a douchebag. Let's
like
be
the
honest.
Jerry Lawler heart attack thing. Like, yeah, like Punk is an asshole, but like he managed to be the nice guy in this situation.
What happened to Goldust?
Fuck Goldust. He's teaming up with this black dude. It's really stupid.
He ain't with his son, Stardust?
Nah, that's his brother.
That's his son.
That's his brother.
That's his son.
Shut up. But their Mania match, it delivered. It didn't close the show, which pissed off Punk, but it was still a very good match.
What didn't piss off Punk?
That was one of the best parts of Chris Jericho's title reign. The best parts of CM Punk's title reign was his battles with Jericho, also his battles with Daniel Bryan. But in that Chicago street fight they had was really good, and overall just a very entertaining rivalry.
Yeah, it was pretty excellent.
And number 3 is 2009 feud with Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental title.
Number 4 is this good ass bitch.
I honestly probably enjoyed their feud more in the 90s for the Cruiserweight title. But this was impressive, that the fact to see how far they both grown. It's really impressive to see, to the point that they both grown as competitors. And the chemistry, I like, at first didn't seem to be, when it showed that they're constant professionals, and the chemistry was definitely there. And seen some excellent wrestling, probably some of the best stuff out of the later part of Mysterio's career. Is WWE run, probably some of the best stuff out of that, because it got kind of convoluted.
It added more legitimacy to the Intercontinental title. And the whole, because I always loved slow talking Jericho. Slow talking Jericho was the shit. But you wear a mask, you're a coward, you're hiding behind it. It was just very, very sharp promos from Chris Jericho's end. And Rey Mysterio is always the sympathetic baby face that he always is, and he always got the crowd behind them. Both of their matches, I believe they had 2 that I remember seeing 2. Like the Extreme Rules match was excellent, where when Chris Jericho pulled off Rey Mysterio's mask, and the match they had at the Bash where he pulled off the mask, Rey Mysterio had another mask under it. Like that, I didn't see that coming, so that was pretty cool to see. And just their in-ring chemistry is awesome. Like whenever these two got in the ring together, especially back in the 90s as well, and back in the Cruiserweight division, they know how to work together.
Yeah, Jericho seems to understand. He always understood well how to work with the lucha style, period. And someone who operates the lucha style like Mysterio does really seems to just benefit Jericho. Or he knows how to take benefit out of it and bring out the best spots and the most crisp wrestling. And it always usually works out, for the benefit of the match.
Mm-hmm. Number 2, his 2000/2001 feud with Chris Benoit. This was because when Chris Jericho first came in with his back and forth with The Rock, he was pretty hot. But then when he had the feud with Chyna and fucking Hardcore Holly, it died down fast. Like his hype, it went straight to the trash almost. So this was the part that it really brought that back. And the Intercontinental title, especially in '99, was shit. It everybody had it. It was like a toy.
D'Lo Brown had it.
I like D'Lo Brown, but when Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit they was going at it for it, there was strict real competition, and this was Chris Benoit's first feud in the company as well, and they're back and forth. Chris Benoit, he's also how Dean Malenko is. He was also very quiet, but when Chris Benoit played the heel in this one, so he was very, very intense. He didn't need to talk that much because he was too busy beating up Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho talked a lot of shit, but he got beat up a lot. So I love when Chris Jericho used to constantly call him Chris Benoit. It was so minor, but I really found that funny. And just they trained in the Heart Dungeon. They trained in the Heart Dungeon together. They had matches in Japan together, so they knew how to work together. It wasn't their first rodeo, and they really delivered on basically every single match that they had with each other. Even the match they had with Angle at WrestleMania, of course, that was going to be great.
Fucking phenomenal.
The 2 out of 3 falls match, that was really good. The Judgment Day match was good.
I mean, we're talking about okay. not to cut you off, but you're mentioning Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho.
Of course it's good.
Name me 2 matches from both of them that were bad. It'll be long. It'll be a long time for you really get this list of matches.
I'm not even going to bother doing it.
Don't. It's okay. But Benoit, precursor, probably shouldn't mention him, shouldn't talk about him because he killed people. But besides from that, he was an excellent, if not my favorite wrestler of all time. I can't think of many guys that were better all around than Benoit, and you gave him another guy that was possibly one of the best wrestlers of all time. You got Canadian guys in the ring, 2 Canadians in the ring. You're finna have an excellent match. They might as well have been 2 Bret Harts. And then there's good storyline behind it. There's nothing but to just appreciate this.
Junior, shut up. Damn it. But and like they had arguably my favorite one-on-one ladder match in wrestling history at the Royal Rumble. Yes, their match at the Royal Rumble was better than Shawn Razor at WrestleMania. I said it and I mean it.
No arguments.
Yeah, it was a better match. A couple honorable mentions: the Chris Jericho Kevin Owens feud. I liked them together more than I liked them apart, but hey, the feud's pretty solid. And I love when he went against Stephanie McMahon. Even though they didn't have like actual matches together, but like the verbal jousting that they had with the filthy, disgusting, vile trash bag hoe, that was always entertaining to me. I hated when they teamed up together. It did not work.
What filthy, disgusting trash bag hoe?
Stephanie McMahon. And number 1, bitch, you guessed it, Shawn Michaels is Chris Jericho's number 1 rival.
Shawn Michaels is everyone's number 1 everything. And Chris Jericho is the same as well. Chris Jericho, it's really a lot of ways you can see Chris Jericho has to idolize, as many wrestlers do, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels as a entertainer, if not his wrestling style as everyone idolizes now, super kick. It's the effort, the persona, the confidence, the bravado. Jericho,
the showmanship more than anything.
Exactly, Jericho was at this point the king of the world in 03. He was going with the king of the world gimmick. It was a lot like Shawn, standing around dancing in the ring, just a different style. And to take that and to add so much hatred and malice for the guy into it, like Jericho was always in this feud playing the character of like looking up and being disgusted with what he's looking up to, kind of thing. Yeah. Which is very accurate for Shawn because he's a dick. Like, he is. This entire rumors, actual things he's admitted done behind stage. He's not a good hero. He was not a good hero for kids. No, he was the hero for many kids.
He did drugs. He fucked a lot of women that he shouldn't have. But yeah, the 03 feud, great, really great, and the match at WrestleMania 19, one of my favorite WrestleMania matches to this day. It was so crisp between these two men. And I believe when you did the Shawn Michaels WrestleMania matches video, you said like the roll up kind of took away from it because you always love seeing a good super kick.
Yeah.
But the low blow at the end, like the low blow, then the hug, like that was great. Like Chris Jericho, like he finally made people like him by giving Shawn Michaels a hug. Nope, kick right to the nuts.
Yeah,
Chris, he's such a fantastic asshole. I cannot stress that enough. But the 08 feud, that's the one that I lean towards because that feud was amazing. It was the start of something that rivaled his obnoxious part with the slow talking, suit wearing. You're all hypocrites. I'm the honest man. Like without Shawn Michaels, that probably never would have happened.
It would never got over if it did. I mean, Jericho could get anything over, but yeah, I don't see it having the same impact or really being the same like benchmark as it is without Michaels being involved.
Yeah, smashing his head through the Geritron 5000, very, very expensive, by the way.
It was literally a signifying moment for Jericho. Honestly, for wrestling, it wasn't very, very good around that time. So if you really think about Michaels and Jericho getting it together, you should expect for it to be kind of the best thing going on. This feud, to me, I can't say which one I like more, but this feud, I say definitely went more on storyline and the drama of it. This was amped up perfectly. Everything about this was just a well-told story. As for the first one, I felt it geared more towards the in-ring action. Not that the in-ring action here wasn't good. It was more spots, and the guys are older, so it was more look what we're doing over this than look what we're doing kind of thing. It's really look at the lengths we'll go instead of look how good I am.
Hell, like I believe Chris Jericho broke Shawn Michaels' wife's jaw. Yeah, he did. That the SummerSlam part where he tried to punch Shawn Michaels and he ducked and he ended up hitting Rebecca, and like he showed no regret towards it. Like I believe he in real life he broke her jaw, but like in the storyline they played it off to where Chris Jericho he didn't care, and that really made the fans hate Jericho.
True.
Like Jericho, like as likable as he is, because he's so charismatic, like he really knows how to make fans dislike him. He said that he wouldn't allow merchandise to be sold. Like when he was going through this persona, when the hypocrite thing caught on, he said he stopped saying it because he knew people were into it. Like he really made sure he did not want you to like him.
He was really, it was a point where he was trying to be, because he's one of the guys who's liked regardless if he's a face or a heel. So he took this time as a heel and said, no, I'm really going to make you not. He literally, the slow talking thing is because it's irritating to hear. That is actually, when you hear someone talking to you like that, it's irritating.
Yeah, like
that's why he talks to people that way.
It was a complete 180 from his previous persona. Like he managed to reinvent himself phenomenally.
He put no energy into his voice as opposed to yelling out phrases, which he's very good at as well.
Well, that concludes the list. Jericho is GOAT.
No Undertaker GOAT.
Jericho is GOAT.
Undertaker.
Read his shorts, bro. Read his shorts. Read the trunks. Jericho is GOAT. We know this.
Undertaker. Yeah, we do.
Undertaker is dead.
WrestlingN'Shit.
WrestlingN'Shit.